Hey everyone, it's VM Campos, Magic Fan. Welcome, Mark. I see you there in the chat. Hello to everyone live, and if you're watching the recording later, welcome. You missed a great show. So, we're going to do some gameplay, we're going to crack some packs, going to look at some photos, we're going to have a fun time. Let me just check all of. Thank you. Let me just check out now. Why is the chat? Oh, there we go. The chat's appearing. Now let me check out all my cams to see if they're correct. Okay, so the amazing cam looks pretty well. Colors look fine, I guess. We'll go over to the full screen cam. Ooh, that looks horrible. So let's fix that. Go to my webcam settings. It looks like I'm underwater and like I'm floating in the briny depths of the Pacific Ocean. Configure video. First of all, let's fix that exposure. Let's overexpose myself over here. And color balance looks weird. Now it looks like I'm trapped in amber or something. Sound sounds good, very good. Let's fix these colors a little bit. There we go. Backlight compensation, that's too bright. I think that'll look good. Ooh, we gotta get our sharpness up here. I don't know why these settings change all the time for some reason. Oh, it's probably because I use zoom a lot and it takes over the cameras and does what it wants. So my voice sounds good, but what about the volume? There really isn't a lot of volume happening of the game yet. We can check that in a bit. And then let's check our web camera. It'd be good if we can have the actual web browser loading up, such as that. Okay, so we can look at the web browser whenever we need to. The card cam. All right, that needs to be adjusted. Let's see. I guess we can go like this. Where do we do it? Right there. So I got a pack of the brand new set to open up. No, not new Streets of New Capenna. That was like 10 years old already. We're looking at Commander Legends, Dungeons and Dragons, Battle for Baldur's Gate. This is the newest set. So we'll open a pack of that. And then over to the game cam. There's the game cam. We got to fix that schedule. So we're going to do Gold Digging EDH deck upgrade, photo fun gameplay. Yeah, that sounds fine. We'll do that. I don't have any snack to snack chat, but I do want to get myself a drink a little bit later. But first, let's do the Boo and his human, exactly, whatever that guy's name is. Minsk, I think that's his name. So that we can go look up what are the big sought after cards and such. But let's see, anything good in the store today? Any cool sleeves or fun things? Where did they tuck the featured daily deal? Well, we have the Theros sleeves, which I already have them all, apparently. I don't really use a lot of them. I guess Erebos is the one I use the most. I like the Thassa one. It looks cool, although I hate the Thassa card a lot. Purphoros, red colors look cool. Never play that card. Never see people play it. I see people play Nylea all the time. That people love Nylea. Pretty cool. And Helios. Out of the order here, I see people play Heliod all the time. Number one. Actually, Thassa and Heliod are tied. I see people love the life gain deck with Heliod, and that's a fun deck, but you can deal with that. The Thassa deck, though, that's the one that's incredibly annoying, incredibly powerful. It just recurs and ETB effects out of the gate. So I think that's the number one most played. Then I see the Heliod deck, then the Nylea deck. I don't really see anyone play Erebos and Purphoros, but that's just anecdotal. And so what I need to do here is cast 30 red or white spells or 20 black or green spells. Okay, so we got a little bit of gold digging to do. I'm going to start to get the gold for this white deck. I'm going to do the vampire. You missed it, Mark, because you're not on Twitter, I guess, or you don't follow me, but I put a fun little tweet on Twitter that put a screenshot and it said, I'm a vamp tramp, because I was playing this vampire deck and I just beat the opponent. I had like 31 life and they had negative 10 because I attacked with so many vampires, with so many anthems, and just overwhelmed them. Halar. I hardly see people play that Halar deck. Trample, 3/3. Whenever you cast a spell, if that spell was kicked, put a +1 on this. Then it deals damage equal to the number of +1s to each opponent. Okay, that's interesting, but I don't really see it being too powerful in 1v1. As for my deck, it's all about mono white vampires, just getting out a bunch of vampires. Dragon Guard Elite is pretty good. It gets stronger the more spells you play. Magecraft, to get stronger. I have removal for it, but I would guess I should remove their commander. But let's get out our plan, which is a bunch of vampires making more vampires. Vampires making vampires. Played a game with the kids the other night, and they all went with the red, so I dug out my blue Elemental Blast. BEB-FTW. Oops. Rhythm of the Night. That's a horrible card. I guess I gotta use my... Okay, well, I have removal for it, so let's just remove it. Those are both... That's a very good card. Although every time I see that card, Rhythm of the Night, yeah, they're not gonna block my commander. And if they do, they're gonna lose a good card. Not Twitch, Twitter. But yeah, don't get into it. It's a time suck. Anyway, every time I see this card... Ooh, they are blocking. Okay, I guess... Fine, I can just recast my commander. Your Magecraft creature's kind of a little bit more unique. But anyway, every time I see this card, Rhythm of the Wild, I get that classic 80s song. Is it 80s or 90s? I get that classic song, Rhythm of the Night, in my head, which I don't like. But it's a good card. Aw, man. Fine. You got my flyer. Alright, as for me, I'm just setting up just the Discord. Yeah, I like Discord because it is a little bit more personable. The social media stuff can definitely, for a content creator, it's an man, we got a freaking Toski. Hate that card. Okay, but the social media can... The theory of it all was being able to connect with people all over the world and follow your interests and the like, but it can definitely be a detriment. Okay, this is annoying. Oh, interesting. Okay, no problem. I guess we'll get to this. Guess we'll get this action going on here. Well, that's a 5/5. A 5/5 token. There's a little 1/1, and then it's a 5/5. Vorinclex has haste, but they didn't attack with it. That's interesting. So I upgraded the quality of my stream. I don't know if it's too visible, but I bumped it up one notch in quality. Oh, there we go. I bumped it up in one notch in quality, and I don't know if it'll be incredibly visible. Well, still missing that removal. I gotta be careful with this deck because the auto tap often taps the Guardian Idol, which is annoying. But here we get a 6/6, and let's also create another Goblin blocker, although they've got Trample. But they might not realize that my Idol can come to life. I could wipe the board, but they'll keep their Toski. Such a hated card. 1/1 indestructible. There's obviously ways to deal with it, but I already used all my good removal. Becomes a 5/5, and everything gets kicked. Okay, so how does that even happen? Wow, you play your one card and you win it all. Okay, it does look clear. Just thought it was because you cleaned your glasses. Yeah, I. So behind the scenes of it all, um, I was using my multi-streaming app to stream to to Twitch and YouTube for people that wanted to come to whichever platform. And then that streaming app, uh, it kind of got canceled because they were a bad company. So like I don't want to support that company. So then I stopped the multi-streaming app and just did YouTube streaming. But then people were saying, "Oh, I miss you over on Twitch and such." So I went with this other multi-streaming app, which has better reviews and all of that. And so I had to kind of reset my settings to that other app. And so for a little while, I had those settings, and then I got a notification from another streamer, and she was saying, you might want to try to bump up the quality setting right here one more level. And so that I'm giving it a shot. And obviously, if it's at a higher level, you can all see it better, but it might also take up more bandwidth for me, and hopefully it doesn't, crash or whatever. Hey there, Stevie, how are you doing? So, I want to cast both of these, but I guess it's okay if I lose this one. Okay, no counter spell on that. Very good. 4th mana, Anointed Procession, so that then I can make a bunch of vampires. So that was a cool meetup we had the other day, Stevie. So Mark, we all met up and played a little bit in person, and we had a new person in the group, and their name was Steven. And then so like we were so confused, like we didn't even know who are we playing, because we had Stevie over here, we had Steven over there, and it's like looking in a mirror, and then but we figured it out. We made it out. So the opponent is playing zombies, graveyard stuff. Yeah, and then Catherine was asking about another meetup, and then Jeffy also, so yeah, the summer will be a little bit different. I forgot to ask you, you're not taking any classes at the moment, right? In the summer? Or I could wipe the board over here. Yeah, let's do that. Big brain play. Watch this. Activate indestructibility, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wipe the board. Play a land. Attack. On 2, very nice. They're gonna sacrifice anything. Well, maybe a land. They probably they're gonna sacrifice a land. Draw a card off of that. They'll just replay it out of the graveyard. As for myself, well, let's get Smothering Tithe. On that game that we played in person, Steve, the new guy, he played his Smothering Tithe so fast. Okay, pro tip, Stevie, I didn't want to say it in front of the group. Pro tip, never let the person get a treasure. Treasure is mana. Mana creates spells. That he knew what he was doing. So even don't let them get their treasure, because as I'm doing it right here, I see they're gonna let me get the treasure because they need to play their spells. The only reason why you would let them get the treasure is because you need to play a spell at that moment. So if you don't play a spell at that moment, definitely pay the 2 and don't let them get the treasure. And then you saw that he got all of his amazing cards out too fast. He had like a Soul Ring and a Mana Crypt and a Smothering Tithe, so... Anyway, let's destroy target artifact or enchantment. Let's get rid of that. That enchantment of yours was actually very helpful. Enchantment removal was very helpful. 1, 2, 3. Alright, so let's attack with a vampire and make a bunch of vampires thusly. I'm gonna block it. Do not care. And then they right there will give me the treasure, which is their funeral. There we go. Look at so much treasure. Now I just need spells to cast. Oh, Shieldred, that's a good one. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, that player sacrifices one creature. Who cares? I've got tokens to sacrifice. We'll give him the old "who cares" emoji. Perfect. Then we'll attack with an indestructible vampire. Although I am hurting myself, but I'm making blockers. Yeah, so that's a lot of mana. So I just need some sort of huge white spell to make it all worthwhile. I don't think I have any X spells. Actually, no, I don't think I have any white spells that take X mana. But that would be nice because then I could put all that mana to use. Drotha, sure. We play a land. Did they do a land drop? And one of those. Okay. Well, I need some like big banger spell, but I'm just gonna go with a huge attack over here. So getting that life back. Plus I got a lot of blockers, plus I gain some life. They're gonna get out of the graveyard, probably the Henge. That gives you so much value. Yep, they're playing the Henge. What else did they have? They can replay a land, they could replay a creature. They're probably gonna play that Necromancer. Obvious deck is obvious. Removal for Mavren, that's okay. I can resummon it from now to infinity. With those colors, they could probably play Spoils of War, which destroys a land, plus a creature, plus a something something. Oh well, I gain my life. Oh, they're gonna steal that, then I gain my life. Guess not really. A Serarark. Well, hopefully we play this Mind Stone and then I trade it in for something better. That's good. At least it'll put more pressure. That's 15 damage right there. Maybe they'll realize, oh, that's a lot of damage, and might find it tricky, so back to 25 life. They'll probably replay a Serarark a few times. Where did they venture? Gain. Okay, they went through the long way. Hopefully they'll use up their mana on that. Vizier, sure, that makes a poison creature. The first time that Smothering Tithe isn't a super powerful. They're reprinting it actually, so that's going to bring down the prices of that card. Smothering Tithe was getting up there in value. It only had one printing ever. I have 2 copies of it, maybe 3. Yeah, I think I have 3 copies of it. One that I got from Cracking Packs. I guess, yeah, one from Cracking Packs, one from, and then 2 from the Eldraine Precons. Yeah, it's not even worth it. All those attacks, they just have too many blockers. I really need to, I don't know, it feels like if I pull a land, I'm going to concede because they're building up too much advantage. They have way more cards ahead of me, and it doesn't pay to try to get something out of the top of the deck. They just have enough blockers. My creatures are too dinky at the moment. If I get something besides a land, I'll go on, but they can play stuff out of the graveyard. They'll probably have removal, Acererak. They got a Nylea. They got that card draw, so I need to really turn the corner here. Playing my own vampire against me. Drawing yet another card. They'll still be able to play more cards. See this? They have too much advantage. So let's see if I draw something meaningful. I'll be able to play it one more time, scry one more off of that. That's funny. They did an Overseer instead of more Acererak. I would just play Acererak over and over. It has so much value. Right, end your turn maybe? Nope, you can still play one more Acererak somehow. I'm not sure how that only costs 1 mana. I swear that there's sometimes bugs in this thing, because why did that only cost 1 mana? Black spells cost 1 less to cast, and they had 1 mana open. Can't attack until next turn, fine. Yeah, exactly. I'm too far behind, so if I don't draw anything good, then GG opponent. They have too much card advantage, too many creatures, too much value. The Great Henge, if I destroy it, they'll just replay it with Muldrotha. If I kill their things, they'll just replay with Muldrotha. So, and then if that dies, that does something else. When this dies, put into the exile from the battlefield, you may put it onto its owners. Yeah, so doesn't even matter here because they'll just get it back. I'll gain a little life. And also the slow speed of it all doesn't make it very... Okay, see, like that. If I disenchant their hands, he'll just replay it. So yeah, I'm too far behind. Let's go on to the next opponent. Muldrotha's a very good deck, because they can just replay stuff from the graveyard. If I destroyed anything, any enchantment out of value, they'll just replay it. And that Great Henge is just too good. It's drawing them too many cards every time they play a creature. But anyway, I got the gold, so let's try to do... the next one here, black or green spells. Okay, let's switch over to a black deck. I've started to this Liliana deck. I think I put it on my Discord. Did I put the picture on my Discord where I showed over on tabletop? Where's tabletop? Yeah, there we go. So there's a picture. No one liked it, I guess. But over on the tabletop category, there's my deck with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Lilianas in the deck. No, I don't have Liliana of the Veil. That one's too rich for my blood. But I have those other Lilianas. You can see over here briefly in the web browser. So, Liliana, Waker of the Dead. I really like her outfit. Liliana, the human that gets her spark and becomes a Planeswalker. Dreadhorde General, that one's amazing. The Death Mage from the pre-constructed deck, which is okay. And then the original Liliana Vest, the Planeswalkers 1.0. So all of those are in that deck. And I have one or two other Lilianas, but they're not in the deck because they're more zombie focused, and my deck is not a big that deck is not a big zombie focused deck. The opponent has one of those cool Kaldheim sleeves, those like heavy metal Kaldheim sleeves. I shouldn't have kept this hand, it's a little slow. And then they're ramping, so far behind here already. Alright, so they have Tovolar, which is all about werewolves. I can do a Bantu's Last Reckoning, that'll lose me a turn. But, well, fine, actually, we'll do that. Forgot about that one. Draw 2 cards, lose 2 life, gain 2 energy. If you're gonna go zombies, you have to have Ranks of the Endless Dead. That sounds familiar. I think we might have mentioned it before. That one's got on, let me guess, on the art there's a bunch of zombies. But it's like zombies on Innistrad going through one of the churches, right? You can see them. There's two versions of that art. One where the zombies are on the other side of the stained glass, and then when they're on the front side of the stained glass, right? It's like two sort of related. Let's see what you got in your hand there, Tovolar. Alright, lots of stuff here. Braid, who cares? Storm the Festival, gotta get rid of that. Unnatural Moonrise. Probably, yeah, this festival. No, wait, no, that's not the one that I thought. Look at the top 5 cards. Put permanents directly. Okay, it's not the one that I thought. There was another enchantment. So these are all sorceries. Yeah, I guess your creature. So we might as well use your Braid. Okay, we'll get a Liliana into the hand. Oops. All right. Yep, so there you go. Tovolar doing its thing. Mana value of 3. Perfect. Get the evil. Next turn I've got Liliana, but they've got a Braid, which is any target, right? To target creature. Okay. And none of those other sorceries are any bother. They have 7 mana, they can recast their commander again. Oh, they're gonna die a rampage. What does that do? Destroy artifact, jam or land. If a land was destroyed this way, its controller may search the area for up to 2 basic lands, put them to the field, tap, then shuffle. Otherwise, blah blah. Okay, so it's I don't know, what's that type? Mulch or whatever. Mulch effect. And then cards in hand. Okay. Anyways, I suppose let's start to teach a lesson with Professor Onyx.
Under my tutelage, even you can master death.
Sick burn. And, oh, there we go. I have Rise of the Dark Realms. Steal every card from every graveyard. There's nothing in the graveyard to steal, but that's okay.
I have impeccable study habits.
As the opponent contemplates, let's look over here for a moment. So Smothering Tithe, when it first debuted, it was $4, and then it's just been getting more expensive. And then after Kaldheim, after Strixhaven, it got up to $45. Went down a bit, returned back to around $50. And then they just announced that they're reprinting it on the next set, so that's starting to drop again. So that was the must-have white card that every white deck needed. And they're finally reprinting it. It was printed back in Ravnica Allegiance, which was back like in 2018. So that needed a reprint, definitely. And as the opponent thinks, let's look at Endless Ranks. The opponent's still not doing anything meaningful. Yeah, there it is. So this is the one where they're in the inside. Oh, look at that. At one point, look at that price curve. So for a long time, that was 84 cents, apparently. And then in the last year, it's gone up to $5. And for some reason, in the last few months, it went up to 13, and now there's been a huge crash, because they probably reprinted it. Well, maybe not, because it crashed right after Midnight Hunt. So that's a big drop from 13 back down to 3. I wonder what market manipulation happened right there. Anyway, back to the game. Finally, the opponent did something. Okay, so let's just get this Liliana party going. They're looking at their own creature and like, I'm in danger. They don't have any voice on that Planeswalker because it comes from the pre-constructed decks, which I guess they don't feel they need to give it as much effort. But this one is from the main sets, so they give her a nice little... Oh, there's another Liliana. How many Lilianas have I had on the battlefield with... what set did this card come out from? Sorry, which one? I jumped around already too fast. That Endless Ranks of the Dead, that zombie one. It originally came out way back in... What is that symbol there? One of the Innistrad sets. Avacyn Restored... Innistrad, Dark Ascension, something like that. I wasn't playing Magic at that time, so I'm not sure of the set. The white, okay, the white one I first showed. Okay, that one was Smothering Tithe. That one came out around 2018 in Ravnica Allegiance. So remember, there was War of the Spark. Okay, there was Ixalan, Rivals of Ixalan, Guilds of Ravnica, Ravnica Allegiance, War of the Spark. So it was like the second set in the middle of it all. Of the last block set that they did. Alright, so yeah, let's just do some more shock and awe with another Liliana. They're holding on to those damage spells, but there's nothing to damage. Typical red player. Alright, so this Liliana went to the market. This Liliana stayed home.
There has to be an answer here.
You have your own Abrade that can destroy your own artifact, but you don't get it, opponent. And this little Liliana went wee. Alright, so we got these 3 Lilianas on the battlefield. Next turn, I'll just play Liliana's ultimate, which will make them discard everything and do cool stuff. I can just easily resummon her. This Liliana's a little ways from her ultimate. And it's not even that great of an ultimate, but it does stuff. And then this Liliana's ultimate eventually destroy some creatures and steal creatures. So they're more there for sort of shock and awe versus the opponents. I have Liliana Waker of the Dead. That one mills and then makes zombies. Got an Avabruck Caretaker. That's annoying. I believe it has hexproof. Who cares? I have a solution for that. Hopefully they don't give it haste. Howling Moon, at the beginning of combat, target wolf gets +2, whatever. I have a Feed the Swarm for that. Alright, let's destroy the opponent's will to live. Okay, that's even better. So, number 1, let's destroy that enchantment. Whoops. Number 2, let's destroy this Oh, and then they're... Okay, never mind. I guess they thought that enchantment was too amazing, so... they're like, I can't live without it. It is a good enchantment, but... it was not for this world. Alright, so we're still gold digging, but let me do a little pause. Let me go get my drink. The drink of the night. And we'll play some more You Shall Not Destroy. You Shall Not Pass to Destroy. So let me go get my drink. We'll do some more gameplay. We got a cracker pack that we will do in a little bit. I also have something cool over here. Let me preview it. If you look closely on my webcam right here, I'll show you just a tiny bit of it. Tiny bit of it right here. You can't see completely. I'll show it. I'll show that when I get back. Something cool. Thank you. So be right back in just a moment. All right, I'm back. Like I said, just a quick break. And we're going to get fancy with today's drink. I'm going to have a Mai Tai from a can. It's the Cutwater Bali High Tiki Rum Mai Tai. I don't think I've ever had a Mai Tai. If I did, I don't remember if I have. And this is one of the canned ones, but we're going to get fancy by putting it in an actual cup. We're not savages. We're not going to drink out of a can. A Mai Tai. I don't have a fun umbrella for it. I believe that's the tradition. And so we got this amber color from the rum. Very fragrant. So I'm not really doing snack chat, but I guess I am testing out this flavor here. It has some nice island flavors, various fruit flavors. Plus the rum. It's got some nice flavors there. You haven't seen tiki rum for a while. Well, maybe I found one of the last stashes. Or maybe what they're doing is they're selling it in a way that they partnered, because Cutwater is the main company, and then Tiki Rum, and so they're partnering to do it like in a nice pre-mixed can. Concoction. All right, let's get back to the gameplay. So, when do you think was when you had last seen it or heard of it or partook in it? Yeah, it's pretty nice. It's got some good flavors. The alcohol's not too overpowering. All right, so we got the 3 mana Kaya. No, it's the 5 mana Kaya. What does that Kaya do? That will be okay. We have removal. What does that mana? Put a ghost form counter on up to one target non-token creature. Okay, so you need creatures first. It gains when this creature dies or puts into exile, return it to your hand and create a spirit. Okay, so it keeps your creatures coming back to life. -3, exile a non-land permanent. Okay, a non-land permanent, that's a good one. -3 on that. And then -7, you get an emblem. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may cast a legendary creature from your hand without paying. Okay, interesting. In the meantime, they've got an adventure creature. And I'll eventually have answers for it. Single white mana. They kept a single white mana, perhaps. But now you have less cards to play. Unless they have a mana tithe. They're going to have a mana tithe. Nope. Okay. Swords to Plowshares. They have their 4th mana. I need my 4th mana. Oh, I do have my 4th mana. Alright, so my 4th mana, I'll got some card draw. Missed a land drop. Okay, that's fine. Let's just put some distraction over here.
Address me as Queen of the Dead, please.
Indicate, isn't that a 3 mana white, black, and 1 more to destroy any permanent? Oh man, Tergrid's Lantern. Okay. That's a good one. And as I recall, Vindicate's, or am I thinking of Capsize or
Well,
Vindicate?
that's a missed opportunity.
Ugh, missing a land drop. Okay. But it's it's like from Tempest era or something, right?
If you want a job done right, hire the best. Ghosting feels weird, I know.
All right, so
Fine. I can see I'm not wanted.
missing another land drop. Okay, so that's how this will end. They're just going to ping me. Hey there, Gabe. They're just going to ping me with Tergrid's Shadow. They're gonna keep recasting that Martyr because it's got the ghost form. Okay, they're gonna destroy their own creature. Fine. You should have attacked with it. The bigger brain play would be they attacked with the creature, then they sacrificed the creature, then they ghost formed, and then they minus, and now they have an emblem. Great. How did they get so fast to that emblem?
Takes to finish the job.
How did they get so fast to their emblem? You get an emblem. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may cast a legendary from your hand or graveyard. They're going to leave it in the graveyard. I do have a way to exile graveyards. Exile creatures and from graveyards. Okay, yep. Let's do an oops right here. Nope, never mind. For some reason, I'm thinking that was the 3 mana Kaya.
require servants. Your corpse will volunteer.
All right. Well, they got a free Liliana, so let's move on.
Mindless minion.
So how are you doing, Gabe? When are you gonna hang out with us for the live magic, for the in-person magic play? We had a get-together this past... What day was it? Remind me, Stevie, when did we meet? Tuesday, right? It's all a blur. Finally get to go first. I don't think I've gone first in a little bit. Yeah, Tuesday or Wednesday. So, yeah, we got together. Hey there, Rosla. How are you doing? Thank you for joining. Trying to play my mono black deck here. It's my Oops All Liliana's deck. It's got all of the Lilianas on standard, in standard. Well, not standard, on arena. Almost all of them. Alright, Kambal. That's a good card. That was a good card. Vinny meaning to meet up with us at Fanboy, yeah. Alright, next turn we got a Bolas of Citadel, the best card ever. Heard there might also be a club rolling again. I don't think so. I think clubs don't happen unless people step up for them. So if people volunteer for them to take on the responsibilities of the club, a club will happen. But an official club from the college has to be set up from president, treasurer, secretary, etc. So we might get a club going if people volunteer for all of that.
Ah, Witherbloom is just... It was going to die eventually anyway.
Still behind on the YouTube. Yeah, that's always a grind, you know. Us YouTube stars like yourself and myself and Rosla, we know how it is all about the YouTube grind. You send a super chat, but you're heading out on the train, and in the next 36 hours you have to spend the day and night in the hospital for an infection. So save every penny, of course. That is definitely much more important. Hope you feel better hope you feel better on what ails you, and I will dedicate, if you need to head off or if you're still staying, I'm going to dedicate this win to you. Hopefully I don't kill myself in the process, but Liliana sends all of her necromantic powers to help you. Okay, so so we need to gain a little life. We need to gain some life. Put this in the bottom. We got an Ulamog, but I don't have 10 life to pay for Ulamog. No problem. We'll just get the Ulamog into the hand.
I never thought I'd miss the library.
Do I want to pay 2 life? Let's not be that greedy. The Rosla curse will befall me. We'll see. Very sore. Too sore for the train. Take plane. Have to go to hospital. 11 hours away.
The
Oh,
others
man.
can deal with you.
Exile my poor Liliana, will you? I don't have 10 mana yet.
Let's go digging.
I don't have 10 mana yet. Let's scry this away. All right, so we'll hold on to 6 plus 7. I do have 7. I do have 7 mana. Okay, so... Four, five, six, 7. They have 7 mana. I could have destroyed their land. Ethereal Absolution. Actually, it's better to destroy that. Destroy it in a moment. They'll attack. I will triumph. Plus, I've got a Liliana, so the other clause kicks in with a little mill. No, discard a card. Even better. So they get to discard one of their cards. Next turn I summon an Ulamog, and I'll exile 2 lands. No, fine. I gotta exile a land plus their 2 creatures. Ah, man. Okay, fine. Yeah, let's just exile their lands. Actually, that'll send a message. I don't even need to deal with your... Indestructible Eldrazi's often end the game. I've seen that for some reason. Yep, when you summon a big ol' indestructible Eldrazi that exiles your lands and then mills 20 cards, the game sometimes ends quickly. Alright, so that'll be a perfect time right here to pause for a moment. Got a victory in Fortnite. I gotta play that one day. It seems pretty fun when I see people's gameplay on Fortnite. It seems fun. And all those dances, those Fortnite dances seem fun. Alright, so let's do this before we go do some more gameplay. Operation could have been done locally, but Ontario, so ridiculously backed up. You have to go to another province. Okay, so you're not going to Ontario. You're going over to Manitoba, Saskatchewan. Let me show off my knowledge of all of the Canadian provinces. British Columbia, Ontario, Quebec, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Nunavut, Yukon Territories, Prince Edward Isle, Northwest Territories. Did I say Alberta? That's 10, I think. Did I get a little... do I get a prize for that? So let me show this off over here. I've been getting into, I've mentioned on the previous weeks that I've been getting back into film photography. So going like old school vintage back with film photography. And I've also been buying some, well, what you've got to do is you've got to watch her videos where she records the whole trip. Missed NS. NS is Newfoundland. I missed Newfoundland. Didn't I also miss Newfoundland? And NS is... what is NS? Naskatchewan? I'm trying to think. NS. Give me another hint. I don't remember what... Yes, we're talking about Canada. I forgot what NS is at the moment. So, speaking of cameras and such, so I've also been getting vintage cameras. Here is a Kodak Tourist camera, and this weighs a ton. Oh yeah, Nova Scotia, of course. Sorry about that. But so this is one of these vintage metal cameras, Kodak cameras, and you know, got the little viewfinder right here. You might think that this is the shutter right here, but it's not actually. And this camera is this thing is definitely older than all of us actually on the stream. This camera was made somewhere between 1941 and 1951. I can't find exactly online because there's many versions of these various cameras. So we'll say at the latest, this is from, there was between 1941 and 1958, the Kodak Tourist. The Tourist 2.0 went until 58. Is a Tourist 1, but there's variations of it. So it's somewhere between 41 and 51. So this camera is older than all of us combined. And what's cool about the camera also, it's completely manual. It needs no batteries, of course. You just wind it up and it shoots. But check it out right here. It's one of these styles of click it, open it, and whoa, it's got one of these open up folding bellows cameras. You thought you'd take the photo like this? Sure, if you want it sideways, you have to take it like this, vertically, like that. I am a tourist taking photos in 1941. And then you set your settings on the front over here. It's completely manual. So you set your settings on the front with that beautiful sort of Art Nouveau style, not Art Nouveau, Art Deco style. Of course, this doesn't want to focus, but if it did focus, you would see all of the vintage. Why am I fighting with this? Let me set my, hold on a moment. Let me set my focus manually. One moment. Focus. Hold on. Sorry. Webcam. Configure video. Focus. Oh, there we go. All right, so if we look at it right here, look at that classic Art Deco style. So basically, it can have a shutter speed of 1/100th of a second, blazing fast, or 1/50th, 1/25th, bulb, which it just stays open as long as you hold the shutter, and time, which it stays open until you click the shutter again. Then you've got these f-stops of f32, so very, very deep focus, down to 6.3, very shallow focus. And then you got these just completely mechanical, I don't know if you can actually pick it up in the camera, but the inside is, can you see that? It's opening and closing right there. If you can't see it, that's okay. But we've got, this opens and closes the amount of light. This up here sets how fast the shutter happens right here. And then over here is the focus ring. So this little part spins right here from like 3 feet to infinity, like that. And so then what you do is it forces you to be very slow and very, definitely top of the line, 1/100th of a second. How is that even possible? So it forces you to be very methodical in your shooting, right? Obviously with our modern cameras, you can take 100 photos and not even think about it. Right here, this only can take 12 photos. So every one of them counts, right? And you have to develop them and pay for it all. So you have to set your focus. And it's so vintage by looking through the eyepiece right here. This is not connected at all to the lens, meaning that the focus over here, you're not going to see it at all. This is just glass. If I look through here, I see the world. But if I turn the focus dial, it has no relation with the eyepiece. So you have to know something is 1 meter away, and you have to then set it to 1 meter, and all that you're doing with this is just seeing, yeah, it's in my field of view. So you just have to be very good at actually being able to judge distance. Then you have to set your shutter speed to reduce shake. And then you have to set your f-stop to affect how much light. Now on the back it has this handy analog scale where it says, okay, if your subject is bright and you're in bright sunlight and you move it around over here, these are the recommended settings. So let me go again right here. Sorry, let me focus that right here. So look at this right here. So are you using Super Double X film? Are you using Kodachrome color film? Is the subject dark or average? Is it bright? Is it sunny? Good. And then all that adds up to, these are the settings you want to use. 50 plus 6.3. So it's completely manual. And then right here you check, you pull this down here and then it shows you, oh, I've got 7 shots left. Oh, I got 2 shots left. So you can see that right there. And you then have to set your settings, set your focus, then you cock it, you pull this over here, no, where is it? You pull this over here, clicks into place, you position it and so forth, and then you press the button right here, this button right here, hear that click, that classic click, just classic vintage mechanics, and it's just so mechanical. Look at all the mechanisms just moving around. Where can you see it? Right there. And then you manually wind it over here. It doesn't click, it doesn't automatically stop. You can keep winding it and winding and winding it and lose all your shots. You have to wind it some amount and then look in the little window here and then wind it some amount and look at the window. Okay, I'm on frame 3. Take the photo, wind it, look in the little window. Okay, I'm on 4. Take the next one. Completely mechanical. That's from 1941. Let's round it up. It's, no, wait, what did I say? No, it's from, it's between 40, did I say 41 and 51? No, I meant, it's between 1948 and 1951, somewhere around there. Yeah, 48 to 51. This model was in between 48 and 58. So, version 1, version 2. This is a version 1. So somewhere between 1948 and 1951, this camera is. So let's round it to 1950. This camera's from 1950. And it still works and so forth. Now, it takes film. Let's wind it up here now. You got to be careful here. When you push these little legs down right here, you got to be careful that it doesn't take off your fingers. Photography was dangerous back then. So on the back, you click here. This pops open here. You put the film in here. This is the negative right here. No rinky-dink 35 millimeter films. This is 20 years before your time. No, let's do a little bit more math. 1950 minus 1990. That's a little bit more than 20 years. So it doesn't take 35 millimeter film. It takes 620 film, which is, of course, Kodak using their muscle. There was already a standard 120 film. Kodak said, let's make our own version, 620, and our cameras will not be compatible with 120 to force everyone to use our film, 620. So this uses 620 film, which has been extinct for 30 years or more. And 620 film just doesn't fit. It tells you right here, this is not for 120 film. But what you can do, what I did with it earlier today was I did get a roll of 35 millimeter film, and if you put it in here and tape it up with tape and do some fun stuff, you can put 35 millimeter film in here. It's not designed for 35 millimeter, so I don't know how this will look. But I did shoot 12 shots with this earlier today, and I just got this yesterday. I ordered it on eBay a week ago or something. Just got it yesterday. Cleaned it up a little bit. It was in very good shape. It was only $9 on eBay. I think that's amazing for something that is 70 years old, 80 years old. And can't wait to see how the photos turned out. So that's one of my latest hobbies at the moment. I've got too many: magic, comic books, photography. So I'll show all of those photos when they come in eventually. I shot the film today. I'll probably drop it off on Monday, and then it takes up to a week. But yeah, I'm doing that film photography at the moment. Yeah, you said you got that analog camera at some point, and you imagine movies are way harder to film. Yes, it was. They were silent for home video. They were silent. They lasted like 5 minutes. One roll of film lasted like 5 minutes. Silent, very grainy and blurry. So it was just a whole different world of amateur photography and filmography. You recall that about analog? Not sure if it's every analog, but there was the eyepiece is different from the. It depends. There's a coupled and uncoupled eyepiece. This is an uncoupled eyepiece. So when you're looking through the eyepiece, it has no connection. It's not coupled with the actual focus. Depending on the age of your camera, it will be coupled. That if you are looking here and focusing into this, it is also focusing the lens. So definitely. Remind me again, which camera did you say? It's been a little while, Gabe, but you said you also got your own analog camera recently-ish. All right, let's play this brand new deck that I put on my YouTube. Xander, Lord Xander, the one on my video that I said this deck is too vicious to release onto the world. That was hyperbole. The deck is not as amazing as I made it out to be. Shh, don't tell the people. But maybe we'll improve it together. But what's my win rate on this deck at the moment? Let's go over to my stats. I got a 48% win rate. My Xander deck. Well, I made a brand new deck of birds. We'll play that one too. Where's Xander? Xander's got 46% win rate, 11 to 13. This brand new bird deck that I made. We'll play that in a moment. Let's play this Xander deck a bit. So the idea is kill all the opponent's stuff, ramp, get Xander out. Tiamat is actually trickier than you think, because once they get Tiamat on board, they get all these dragons. They have all the best dragons, of course. Old Gnawbone, Goldspan Dragon. So Tiamat decks can be annoying if they get lucky enough to ramp and everything. They had to mulligan a lot, so we'll see. Oh yeah, Cannon Rebel X. I took my Cannon Rebel G out of storage and I've been shooting with it, and it's, compared to the one that I just showed, it is so modern and high-tech. If you gave that Rebel X to someone using this Kodak Tourist, their head would explode. That Rebel X is 50,000 times more advanced. Autofocus, auto exposure, removable lenses. It's a very good camera. All right, let's mess with the opponent by looking at their hand. So you've thought, we don't need that cultivate, that's vicious. So you thought about it. Moses from the Bible was the first person with a tablet tableting from the cloud. That is exactly true. Now, he ran out of storage, so he had 2 tablets. And, but that's exactly, yep. And then the opponent's like, I'm done. She's going to, yeah, let's do a duel if you want. I got a couple. I'm mostly focusing on Historic Brawl, so I don't know if you've got any Historic Brawl decks you want to play. I don't know if you want to do. I'm not really doing Standard or regular Historic, and I'm definitely avoiding Alchemy. So yeah, we can do some gameplay if you wish. Apparently, technology was greater in the day to spread water remotely. Yes, and let's see, let's make some other ancient jokes. That would assume I have some. Yeah, if you got some historic decks, bring them on. I'd love to keep practicing my strategies. Ooh, Rafine. Rafine is so good. Ward 1 is such a big deal. So I've got Doomblade, which won't work. So I didn't quite see my opening hand. I was too busy chatting with all y'all, but that's okay. So hopefully I get some better removal to take care of Rafine, because that definitely gets out of hand quickly. My mana's going pretty well. Yeah, my mana's going very well so far. And the opponent is not doing anything meaningful, so that's good. Yeah, I'm going to be on track to get Xander out right away. In the meantime, let's draw some cards. There we go. Vraska's Contempt. If they get their white mana, they've got Rafine. Oops, they didn't. They missed a land drop. Sorry, opponent. Xander, Lord Xander awaits. Hey, it's Kato Kalin battling me. And we got Xander on the battlefield. Sorry, opponent, discard half your hand. This card definitely should have... All of its abilities are amazing, and they're all half. Opponent discards half their hand. Opponent mills half their library. Opponent sacrifices half their non-land permanents. But they're all rounded down. And you wouldn't think that makes a big difference, but that makes a big difference. That should have been rounded up, and they missed another land drop. Whoops. Well, opponent, you're going to miss a bunch of land drops because there goes half your deck. But you get a lot of flashback cards. But anyway, the those abilities should have definitely have been rounded up abilities. Because the deck just doesn't do anything when you... I mean, the creature doesn't do anything. If they've got one card in hand, you summon Xander, they keep the card. It really should have been discards their hand, rounded up. Alright, well, let's mill them half their deck one more time. Look at that big pile of cards over there. Then let's hold on to... 1, 2, 3. We'll hold on to Feed the Serpent. You won't look at the screen. Yes, that's a good... That'll be a good strategy. You just looked up ancient jokes and found a great one. Okay, tell us your ancient joke. Ah, man, we got Sleep of the Dead. Okay, fine. Whenever you cast a spell, if its mana is whatever, put a counter on this and then create a thing. Okay, fine. So we got locked down. That's fine. The Emperor Augustus was touring the Empire when he noticed a man in the crowd who bore a striking resemblance to himself. Entreaty asked, "Was your mom at one time service to the palace?" "No," he replied, "my father was." Yeah. Okay, yes. I think that makes sense. Your mom is so ancient, she worked at the palace. Alright, so let's look at your hand. Anything good in your hand? Nothing good. Fine. Play a land. Alright, we got Rosla right there, ready to challenge us on Arena in a moment. Let me try to possibly beat this opponent, and then we'll have a battle. Alright, then we'll have our Feed Serpent. We have enough mana to play Ward. They never got their white mana. They never got their... No, they did. Sorry, it's just that snow-covered plains looks like a mountain with that color palette. I swear sometimes these... They emphasize style over substance sometimes with Magic cards. So, like, for example, these plains... Every time I see them, now they look amazing. They have this cool 16-bit style, but these plains look like mountains every time I see them without paying attention. This is a plains, even though it's extremely red. Oops, Unburial Rites, not good. What are they bringing back? Nothing meaningful. I'll still exile it though. If it's in my hand, I got to, right? Now all I need to do is get my Tormod's Crypt to clean out their graveyard. And here's the funny thing, wouldn't you know it, I'm playing the opponent that relies on their graveyard, and early on I destroyed my Soul Guide Lantern. So I might have a Tormod's Crypt. Do they even have any cards left in hand? Yeah, they have one card left in hand. Had one card in hand. We'll mill them for half their deck one more time. They have 10 cards left in hand. They haven't gotten their plane. Oh, never mind. They do have their plane. See, I keep making the same mistake. It is not a mountain. You can update MTG. You're going to try to black and blue combo, possibly black and red. Well, the good thing that I'm hearing is that you definitely have the best color within those cards. I mean, within those decks, black. And then you got Ward 1, who cares? Don't know what would work. Should be interesting. We'll test out the decks. Yeah, definitely. And Kato Kalin goes back to OJ's guest house. Does anyone get that joke? So at the moment, I have a 50% win rate on that deck. 13-13. We'll try it against a real opponent. Rosla has challenged us. You know what? Unfortunately, I just remembered that I think I'm gonna initiate the challenge over here if you don't mind. Doesn't matter, but I'm going to. I believe their brawl matchup is weird. Yeah, no problem. We trust you, of course. So I'm going to select, before you go, I'm going to select Friendly Brawl, and I think this is a bug or something in Arena. So you don't have to go just yet so we can chat here. I guess we can chat on Arena. But I'm going to initiate a Friendly Brawl match, which I think counts for Historic Brawl. And the screen didn't change to say that I'm challenging you, so I don't know. Well, Brawl isn't best of 3, it's a best of 1. Historic Brawl is a best of 1. If you're thinking of like just plain old Historic, that's best of 3, but I'm doing the 100 card Commander Friendly Brawl, unless you want to do a Historic best of 3 thing. I have a few decks for that. Or I guess that's... Oh, we got a Tiamat. Okay, here we go. So you don't have to leave the stream. You can hear my voice. You can just minimize your web browser so you don't see my side. But if you want to still hear me here, that'll be perfectly fine. Okay, so we're playing Rosla. If all of you that are on stream have not followed Rosla on YouTube yet, you need to click that subscribe button on her channel, of course. And so we're playing against Tiamat. I'm already worried because Tiamat decks can be very good, and when you're dealing with a pro player like Rosla, we're gonna get our lands destroyed and we're gonna be suffering. So let's see if we can get stuff done. But I gotta trick up my sleeve. One of these vicious cards right here. Sorry, but it's in my hand. I gotta play it, right? Ooh, lots of good stuff right here. Lots of good stuff. Let's go with the low blow right there. Next up, play some kind of card, then play another card. Who knows what card I will play? How about one of these cards over here? Uh-oh. How about another one of these cards? This is another low blow card. Oh, got another one right there. And then we'll set ourselves up later to take care of any problems that might be to answer any problems. Hey, wait a minute. Sorry. I haven't gone back to the game. There we go. Sorry, no one said anything. But here we are. We're back on the game. Oh, hopefully my commentary has kept you up to date with what I was doing. Sorry, I had it on the wrong screen. So we got Rosla, who is trying to ramp into some amazing things. And, little does she know that this deck is just one of the meanest decks that I've ever put together. And, it's doing its thing so far. But as soon as Tiamat comes on board, then I'm in big trouble. So we have to hold off until I missed the land drop. Oops, Wilderness Wreck. That's a good one. That was the terror of Standard. Let's keep ramping over here. Scry into yet another good card. Yep. So, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana in total. Let's play some draw spells over here. Let's play more draw spells. Midnight Clock, love that card, definitely. And with Wilderness Reclamation, you're going to ramp into that so fast. But we got Lord Xander, unless we get counterspelled. We're going to get counterspelled. Oh, we got a Regenesis. Okay. I was worried for a moment. But, yeah, so she just brought those two amazing cards out of the hand. That's obviously the problem with my strategy here. If I try to mill them, but if they just bring their cards back to the hand, then that negates my strategy. All right, so we got probably Ashaya coming up very soon here. That's a very good card. When people play Ashaya, it is always... Oops, okay, we got a Urban Utopia, more ramp. Cultivate more ramp. We're at Tiamat level already, so that's tricky. That's tricky, and then we got a full, complete untap. Oh man, that Wilderness Wreck is so good. Okay, so let's play a one of these brand new fetch lands. This one's very interesting. It's just an automatic fetch land. So you don't even have to think, you just play it and you go fetch a land. Really interesting. And then so let's do what Xander does. There goes half the deck. Deck goes brrr. And then, yeah, let's just steal some stuff from the graveyard. How do we take one of those, take one of those, take one of those? Yeah, we won't be too cruel. Actually, yeah, we'll take one of those too. Man, math! I should do math. That's what I get for being so greedy. I wanted all of those amazing creatures out of the I wanted all of those amazing creatures, and I should have done a little bit of math. Let's do the math here. 7 plus 8 plus 3 plus 5, I guess, is 23 damage. Who would have thought that? Yeah, who would have thought that I would have done 23 damage to myself? If I still had 25 life, I would have been fine. If I hadn't gotten greedy and stolen that... And anyway, Siege Worm is not that great. I thought it was that one other worm. Yeah, that's what happens when you get greedy. When you get greedy and you see so many amazing creatures and you want to steal them all, but it costs you 23 damage. Okay, maybe we'll do a rematch and I won't play so boneheadedly, and maybe I will do calculations next time. Yeah, let's do a rematch on that. Let me do that challenge one more time. Next time, if I get that card, I will do the proper calculations. See, that card's great, but you're paying life for casting cost. And if I had just done a little bit of math, I would have seen, maybe don't steal one more of those 7 mana creatures. Maybe don't deal 7 damage to yourself. But c'est la vie. Okay, so Here we go. Rematch. Let's try to... That's one of those no pain, no gain. That's one of those no pain... Oh, World Tree, that's a good one. That's one of those no pain, no gain strategies. And again, sorry, I got these vicious cards in my deck that I've got to use, so... Gotta use it. Alright, so next up, let's play a land. Let's play a rock. Yeah, don't clip that. Don't clip my folly for all to see. No, that's okay. And yeah, just to be obvious, let's deal with that. All right, so we got Biogenic Ooze, that's amazing. We got Vivian Reed, that's amazing. Vivian's Evocation, that's a thing. And then Mana Ramp over there. Let's draw some cards. I like the art on that Honored Heirloom. It's like this beautiful multicolored gem. Ooh, Nyx Lotus. We've got this beautiful multicolored gem. We have Lord Xander again already? Okay, well, Lord Xander does what does Lord Xander does. Did I just see Old School Land? Yeah, I'm putting the vintage lands in this deck. Check that out. Mike Plug and Eric Pedersen. So this deck has the vintage lands. Alright, so we got that Ooze, which is amazing. We got a Planeswalker, that's amazing. 2 hidden cards. Nyx Lotus, which is amazing. World Tree, which is amazing. So we just have to hold out. Right, there we go. We got an Ooze. 2 blockers and a Druid, which is ramp. Plus the oozes get bigger. Oh man, that's the only thing that defeats this deck. If you mill half their library, and then one half of the library has Gaia's Cradle, that brings back everything, so that is amazing. But... double blocks, and yeah, we'll do that. And yeah, let's do this over here. Play my land. So there we go. We got another vintage land right there. Ben Thompson. Got Vivian.
The wild wasn't meant to be contained. Feel the wrath of Scala.
My poor mana rock. Alright, 7 plus 2. This is way overkill. Such a powerful spell for some poor little critter. I've had this before, and then there's the Guy's Blessing. So the mill there is just... I played this against someone else that they had one of those Gaia's Blessings, and it just recurs their whole library. Oh man, Ashaya is very good, but and then another blessing there, man. Gotta get my graveyard removal. Hey, wait a minute. Never mind. Alright, so Ashaya will ramp 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Mammoth. Uh-oh. Well, got some mutually assured destruction right here with the Mammoth versus 5, 6, 7 versus Xander. you gotta sacrifice half your non-land permanents. So that's the thing about Xander. Oh, discarding a land, eh? Interesting. So here's the problem with Xander. Discard half your hand rounded down. That would have been much more devastating if it was rounded up. Because she had one card in hand, and summoning Xander. Okay, hold on. Let me see. Does this work here? Can I do Honored Heirloom, exile target card, and then select that freaking Gaia's whatever? Can I do that? Can I respond to it that way? Yeah, there we go. But it'll still do its thing. Okay, so now I know how to handle that. But now we've got a 6/6 and a 5/5 on the field. And let's Ghost Quarter that tree over there. Ghost Quarter the poor person's strip mine. Because strip mine's obviously better. You destroy their land, it's gone forever. Ghost Quarter, you destroy their land, and then they get to go get a basic. Got a little kitty cat bringing a lizard. Elf on a shelf. That Haven comes back again. That's an 8/8. All right, 8/8 is very impressive, but -13 is also impressive. Now we can mill this deck with impunity. Double block might be useful here. Nope, okay. Got Tiamat on board now. We're going to go get a bunch of amazing creatures. Ooh, we got 18 freaking mana. How does that even happen? Oh, yeah, because of the Nyx Bloom. What do you call them? Okay. Passing. Okay, interesting. Must be some big brain plays over here. Some big brain plays that I'm not aware of just yet. Let's do a little bit more mill. Ah, poor kitty blocking a 6/6. So probably right here. Ooh, circuitous route. Haven't summoned Tiamat yet. Interesting. Now what does this do again here? Create a token that's a copy of target creature you control, although I believe legendary rule will still apply, so let's be careful about that. Although you can duplicate your Nyx Bloom Ancient and make 7 million mana. Interesting. Okay, well, let's go in for more attack power. Have a bunch of open mana just in case. Love seeing old school art, even though I didn't play Magic long on and off. Old school Magic cards are amazing. Pop up now and then, especially from the 90s. Yeah, if you go back that far to the 90s, there's just so much weird art out there. Duplicate your Nyx Bloom. Okay, here we go. We're gonna get 1,000,000 mana on the battlefield. Literally 1,000,000 mana is on board here. What is going on here? I'm feeling something. Something is. Something is coming. 4 cards left in the library. Double block Xander might be a good idea. Yeah, there we go. Let's remove the original critter. Oops, that was the token. Whoops. That's okay. Sacrifice half your permanents. Play a land. Recast Xander. Whoops. Painting level 2 and level 1 Python. I would recommend Python definitely. That is the that is one of the big and then we got Tiamat to go get a whole bunch of amazing dragons. But the deck is kind of empty. 3 cards left in the library. 3 cards left in the library. So here's again the rounding aspect of it all. Discard 1 card. So Xander killing Xander. Xander on Xander violence. And then now I'm defenseless over here. But we got another one of these discard effects. Oh, I have to discard my own thing. Wow. That is such betrayal. Looking forward to the progress. Definitely. Okay, cycle away a triome. Stuck on puzzle concepts. Well, puzzle concepts are one of the best ways to learn programming languages because puzzles are often very logical, and therefore, as you... Oh, we just realized we just won the game. Omoe wa mo shinderu. Yeah, puzzle games are very good for learning programming languages because they're just so... they're so logical, and if you can program puzzles, it gets you a great mentality of being logical in programming. So don't feel that you're stuck in it. It's just that it definitely is a way to learn. All right, well, that was a hard-fought one. I had to mill 20 times until I got rid of that Gaia's Blessing. That's one of the big downfalls of my deck. That, yeah, you mill their deck, but if they have a Gaia's Blessing, they just keep recycling their deck. Good thing, eventually I learned, hey, how about if I exile a card that lets them recur their graveyard? If I had realized that 1 or 2 turns earlier, it would have gone a little faster. And then mill the whole day. Look at that pile of cards in the graveyard. And then it's all about the final can't draw a card from the hand. But GG, Rosla. That is definitely one of your classic... That's one of your classic... If you get your stuff on the battlefield, the opponent is completely dead. Because with all of that mana with the Nyx Bloom Ancient, and we got a 15/15 Hydra over here. And I'm sure if we look around here, we might see a land destruction card or 3. And Scute Swarm. Great Henge, of course. Good stuff, of course. Gigantosaurus. So, Galta. So that's, and then duplicate it all. So, GG Rosla. So definitely we'll do a little bit more gameplay, but let's switch over to the card cam. Let's do a crack-a-pack. I have a couple of historic decks. Yeah, if you want to do a historic. I don't have any standard decks at the moment. After rotation, I haven't quite built any standard decks. But if you'd like to, yeah, we can do a historic in a moment. Let's do a crack-a-pack. Here's the latest and greatest set. New Capenna ain't so new anymore. So here's the brand new set. Dungeons and Commander. Here's the name of the set. Commander. Here's the name of the set. Magic the Gathering, Commander Legends, Dungeons and Dragons, Battle for Baldur's Gate. That's the official name of this set right here. As the famous villainy quote says, "I will show you my true power." Oh no, Cell is coming to get me. So yeah, we can. We'll go over to historic in a moment. Best of 3, but let's open up this boosty right here. But before that, let's do this. Let's go over to the. I think my tracker isn't updating here because it's supposed to show. Yeah, it's not updating. I think I lost the connection because I played 2 games here and it didn't count it. Never mind, but I wanted to check price guide over here. So if I'm about to open this pack over here, we gotta be on the lookout for Ancient Copper Dragon in the full art treatment. That is apparently $80. If we get Ancient Copper Dragon in the Monster Manual style, that's $60. Ancient Silver Dragon, basically any of the dragons. We're looking for one of the ancient dragons. The red one is the best, then the blue, then the black, then the white. Besides that, oh, Volo returns. Volo went mono blue apparently. $20 on that. Black Market Connection, Archivist of Ogma, Deep Known, Terramancer. These are the alternate arts. These are much. Oh, I want to get that Tasha Witch Queen. I love that art, and her abilities are cool. So these are the alternate arts, and then we got some cool lands. Dual lands. I'm going to open a set booster, so this has more possibility of these special cards. But if we were looking at the plain old non-variants, again, Ancient Copper Dragon, $62. Captain Nagathrad is $40. This is the brand new Horror Pirate. So we got a little bit of pirate support in blue and black with this Horror Pirate. So again, looking out for any of the dragons. Black Market Connection, 3 mana enchantment. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, choose 1 or more. Create a treasure, lose a life. Draw a card, you lose 2 life. Create a 3/2 colorless shapeshifter with Changeling, you lose 3 life. You can do all 3 of these and you're going to lose 6 life. It's not so bad. Archivist of Ogma, Flash, 2/2, 2 mana. Whenever an opponent searches their library, you gain 1 life and draw a card. Okay, so this is an amazing card. They're definitely giving white decks more power, because that is amazing for Commander. Everyone's always searching their libraries all the time. So if you have this out as soon as possible, you're going to be gaining so many cards off of this little halfling cleric. How's the Dungeons and Dragons set? The commentary that I see from other YouTubers is that it's not worth buying a box. It's worth buying individual cards. And the focus of the cards are these D&D flavored types of cards, dragons and such. So I know you've been saying you want to get cards from the Godzilla set, so I would still think about getting cards from there. Or any decks that focus a little bit more. Plain boosters, it's such a gamble that it's not recommended because you don't know what you're gonna get here. So I like getting plain boosters for fun, but if I definitely want to build a certain kind of deck and such, I would just get the individual card. And this year I'm taking a little break from physical Magic products. I used to buy one box every time a set came out, but I'm cutting it down this year. So that's just me. Pirate support in D&D. There might not be a lot of pirates, but there's a few pirates in this. It's mostly other types of creatures. Hyping the next match, definitely. Add more to the pirates, definitely. Definitely want to check out some D&D sets. There's 2 now at the moment. There's Adventures in the Forgotten Realms, and then there's this Baldur's Gate one. And love to get the Godzilla. Yeah, definitely. All right, so let's open these cards. Enough hype on that. Let's go over to the card cam. And let's open up this booster right here and be on the lookout for some dragons. I have to do this upside down because the way my camera is set up. But you will all see it right side up. And I think that my tie is finally doing what it was supposed to do. All right, so first up we have this one of these art cards with one of these cute little dragons. This is Ancient Bronze Dragon from Mark Nelson, the art series. You have one from the Godzilla set, the Death Crow. I have that one too, exactly. Wizards had to apologize. They didn't have to apologize, but they put out an apology statement saying, when we created this card a year ago, we had no idea that a global pandemic would ravage the world. So they wanted to apologize by calling their card Death Corona when the coronavirus was brand new back in 2020, and I managed to get one of them from PAX. It was one of the foil ones, so I got a foil Death Corona too. All right, next up we got one of these lands. Oops, sorry, let me set my thing here. I have to do this upside down, so sorry. One of the innovations of the D&D set is that they were putting flavor text on their lands, which might be the first time ever. As you sail past the imposing sea tower of Belderon, you realize that breaking your friend out of that prison will be much harder than you thought. So that's definitely the opening of a great campaign. All right, so we got a Decanter of Endless Water. Really cool art on that. It's an artifact. You have no maximum hand size and tap to add 1 mana. Ooh, that's fun. That's a 3 mana rock for any color and no maximum hand size. So a Reliquary Tower effect in an artifact. And this happens to be card number 444. How many cards are in this set? This is card number 444. Very cool art on that. No maximum hand size plus a mana rock. Miracle's Edict. Miracle, I wonder if they're related to Hercule. Remember Hercule's command? Here's Miracle's Edict. 2 mana sorcery. Roll a d20 die. Sorry, let me get here right here. I didn't like how they put the text on the land. It was definitely different. Not too used to it. They're not really doing it at all except for the D&D sets, so nothing to worry too much about. All right, so roll a d20 die, sorcery, 1 through 9. Choose an opponent. That player sacrifices a creature. All right, so it's an edict effect. 10 to 19. Each opponent sacrifices a creature. That's cool. So an edict for everyone. Or if you get a perfect natural 20, each opponent sacrifices a creature with the greatest power among creatures they control. So usually their biggest creature will get destroyed or sacrificed. So this gets away from indestructibility. If you roll a perfect natural 20. The art is a little bit kind of this modern magic art that you can't really tell what's going on. I think I see a wall of skulls or something. Then we got that's cool, Miracle's Invoker. Okay, so set boosters. This type of booster is full of like themes. So I already see 2 Miracle cards. So we might see a few more Miracle. Here we have Miracle's Invoker. It's a cat rogue. It's a 3 mana, 2/3. and it's got pay 8 mana. Hold on a moment. You pay 8 mana. All your creatures get +2 and gain menace. Your death will make a fine tribute for the Lord of Bones. So definitely play this later in the game. Definitely play it in a go wide strategy deck. All your creatures gain menace. Scion of Halaster. It's a legendary enchantment. Background. Okay, so here's one of the brand newest mechanics. I still don't fully know how it works. Background is a new mechanic. Background is a mechanic that only matters in Commander. Basically, in Commander, you have your Commander, which goes in the command zone. It's a legendary creature. Legendary enchantments backgrounds also go in your command zone. So you start the game with 2 things, 1 legendary creature and 1 background. Now, from the commentary I've seen online, most people are saying that these backgrounds are kind of weak. But it would make sense because it's the first time they've ever done them. So it would make sense that maybe they start them a little weak and then ramp up as the mechanic gets figured out. So let's see, what does this do? Legendary enchantment. Commander creatures you own have. The first time you would draw a card each turn. Instead, look at the top 2 cards of your library. Sorry, this looks weird to me. Put one of them into your graveyard and the other on top of your library. Then draw a card. The first, okay, so you have to have your commander on the battlefield. And then as long as your commander's on the battlefield and this enchantment is on the battlefield, whenever you draw a card on any turn, instead look at 2 cards, leave 1 on top, put 1 in the graveyard, then draw a card. So interesting. It's got a not a scribe, but what's the other ability? That other scry that instead you mill yourself. But anyway, it's got that ability, then you draw a card and you look at 2 cards in the future. Most see the Mad Mage as a deranged menace, but you recognize the genius behind his paranoia. That's funny. Dire Mimic. 2 mana artifact with flash. Tap it, sacrifice it, add 1 mana. Or pay 3 mana, becomes a shapeshifter. That is a 5/5. So if you have 5 mana in total, you can flash this in, and it becomes a 5/5. And I think I just got the hiccups. So last time I got the hiccups on the stream, I had to pause for like 20 minutes to deal with it, but hopefully I don't have the hiccups yet. Let's move on. That's an interesting card. Manor Gate. It is a land. It is a gate. Manor Gate enters the battlefield tapped. As Manor Field enters, choose a color other than green. Tap it to add green or 1 mana of the chosen color. I don't know if there's a whole cycle of every color. I don't know if there's like a black one that says choose any color besides black. So this basically is a dual land. You get to pick whatever color you want when it enters, and it does the color built in or the other color that you choose. So more dual lands. A barrier that shields privileged eyes from the city's woes. Sword Coast Sailor, legendary creature. No, sorry, legendary enchantment. Wait a minute. Sword Coast Sailor, but it's an enchantment, and it's not an enchantment creature, so that's a little flavor weirdness. 2 mana. Commander creatures you own have, whenever this creature attacks a player, if no opponent has more life than that player, this creature can't be blocked this turn. Whenever this creature attacks a player, if no opponent has more life than that player. Okay, so the commentary that I've seen is that Wizards is getting really complex with some of their newer cards. Because I have questions. if no opponent has more life. Now, are we counting the opponent of the one we attacked, or are we counting the opponent that is our opponent's? Whenever this creature attacks a player, if no opponent has more. I guess it means my opponent's, because it's my enchantment, it's my commander, it's my creature. Whenever your creature attacks a player, if no opponent has more life than that player. So, okay, John has 10 life, but Janet has 9 life, and I have 8 life, and then Billy has 6 life, then the thing is unblockable. So basically this is usable that when we have less life than the target, this is unblockable. Well, in theory you can have all your creatures be unblockable. I guess best case scenario, all your creatures are unblockable if you have less life than your opponent. Whenever this creature attacks, if no opponent has more life. So it doesn't count yourself. So I have 10 life. They have 10 life. But Janet and Bill have 6 life and 6 life. Then my creature's unblockable. Yeah, I guess that's what makes sense. I don't count myself because I'm not my own opponent. And I'm attacking that opponent. But then we also count the other opponents. Yeah, that's incredibly interesting and complex wording, and I have been seeing commentary people saying this Wizards is just doing a lot of complexity, and obviously for some players that's great. I want more complexity, more choices. I love it, but you have to think sometimes about new players and less seasoned players, and ultimately if you're playing with your friends, yeah, you can make up your own rules and decide on things, but that seems way more complicated than it needs to be, I think. You have to reread it. I've reread it 5 times already too, but maybe on the 6th time I'll get it. You were born at sea, and your legs are steadiest when the waves are rowdiest. Sure. Then we got Cone of Cold. 4 mana sorcery, roll a die. 1 to 9. Tap all creatures your opponents control. Tap all creatures all your opponents control. See, once again, I always talk about when I read cards, I talk about how I wish that they would kind of reword things slightly. Tap all creatures all your opponents control. I would love that they just threw in the word all. And we get the sense of what they mean. Tap all creatures your opponents control. But with that simple word all, I think that would be even better for beginners and even advanced players. That one extra word doesn't bother advanced players. Tap all creatures all your opponents control. Because I would definitely see beginners thinking almost like, oh, I'll tap your creatures but not your creatures. Like somehow you can pick and choose which opponents, even though that's not what it means, and us more advanced players wouldn't get confused by that, but simply adding the word all, I think, would be useful. 10 to 19. Tap all creatures your opponents control. Tap all creatures all your opponents control. Those creatures do not untap, and I wish they would also say do not instead of don't. Sometimes when people talk and they say, don't give me that. Don't give me that. Don't give me that. I think a lot of people say don't in an ambiguous way. So if they had worded this as do not, yes, it takes more space, but I think they care more about readability and such. Those creatures do not untap during their controller's next untap step. Or Nat 20, tap all creatures all your opponents control. Those creatures do not untap until your next turn. Creatures your opponents control enter the battlefield tapped. So, yep. You ice everything if you get a perfect 20. Juvenile Mist Dragon. I don't want one of these little dragons. I want one of the big dragons. Juvenile Mist Dragon. 5 mana. It's a dragon. It's got flying. It's a 4/3. When this enters, for each opponent, tap up to 1 target creature that player controls. each of those creatures doesn't untap. Alright, so it's a Frost Lynx effect, but it's a flyer. It happens to multiple opponents instead of just one opponent. And it's a really cute dragon, definitely, because it's a little juvenile, little tiny dragon. Ooh, we got a cool looking rare over here. Dyna Air, Invoker Adept, 4 mana in Jeskai colors. I don't remember the 3 color combinations off the top of my head, unfortunately. Cool art here. 4/4 Human Wizard with haste. You may activate abilities of other creatures you control as though those creatures had haste. Tap. When you next activate an ability... Okay, I remember. This is one of the cards. Again, Wizards is making things too complicated. This is one of the cards that they issued Day Zero errata. This card is already different. The printed card is already different than what it officially does. Let's see if you know what the difference is. But this card, as I have it in my hand, is wrong. The official wording of this is different. Let's see if you know what the difference is here. Tap. When you next activate an ability this turn by spending 4 or more mana to activate it, copy that ability. You may choose new targets for the copy. So, does anyone see how they had to fix this card? Does anyone see how they made a mistake on their own card even before they released it to the world? I read an article, I'll pull it up in a moment. There were like 4 cards that they had to say, actually, we made a mistake. Here's how the card works. This is one of them, as I recall. This has one little minor thing that they needed to fix on this card, because if you were to use this card without knowing that it's been changed, it is actually broken. But they had to add one extra little bit to make sure it's not a completely overpowered card. Anyone know maybe what the error in this card is? Well, apparently Skull Clamp is in this set, so we gotta look out for Skull Clamp too. Alright, so here's the answer. Let's jump over here, actually, to the web browser. The latest version of that card, the correct version, when you next activate an ability that isn't a mana ability this turn, blah blah blah. That's it. Llanowar Elf, for example. The original card. When you next activate an ability, tapping your Llanowar Elf to generate mana is an ability. As is printed on this card here, it would make your mana dorks stronger. Whoops, no one realized it. Even though 50 people work on Magic, the card was printed, the card was shipped all over the world. This plus 3 others, they had to say, whoops, this card actually doesn't work that way. Officially, this is what the card does. Obviously, unfortunately, when people are in real life, playing in draft at your local game store, or playing with friends, if you're a hardcore player, you would have known this. But if you're a casual player, you would not know that you're playing your card illegally. Because the real way this card works is when you activate your next ability that isn't a mana ability, so now it doesn't count your mana dorks. You can copy the ability. So you would have been able to double your mana. As the card is printed, you can tap your Llanowar Elf and make 2 mana out of it. Double mana. Free mana. Obviously, that's always broken. So, now it doesn't affect mana dorks. So, yay, Wizards. In your zeal to make more and more and more and more cards, sometimes things slip through quality control. You wish they would make more doggies. Yes, after Core Set 2020 or something, they started to make a few more dogs. I don't know how many dogs are in this new set. We can look it up in a moment. But yeah, more dogs, more good. Got another legendary creature here. Okay, so this was one of my rares. Then we have here Hardy Outlander. This is a legendary enchantment, so another one of these backgrounds. Commander creatures you own have, whenever this creature attacks a player, so it doesn't count if they attack the Planeswalker, if no opponent has more life than that player, another target creature you control gets +X. Alright, that's dumb. If I only have my commander on the battlefield, this plus doesn't even target my own commander. Whenever this creature attacks, so if I attack with my commander, another target creature you control, sorry, let me get it right here. Another target creature you control gets +X, where X is that creature's power. So that's really weak. If I only have my commander, I'm not gonna pump up my commander. It has to be some other creature that gets pumped up. I don't know why Wizards thought that would be way too powerful to let your commander get swole. Yes, there's a lot of broken commanders, but this definitely feels like way more conservative than it should have been. Another target creature gets +X. You're a born explorer, happiest foraging your way through the untamed wilds. Yep. Ooh, we got one of these foil alternate arts. Flaming Fist. Another background. It costs a 2 and a white. We got the foil alternate art. Looks really nice. Look at how shiny that is. My hand is just reflecting on the foil. Your commanders have, whenever this creature attacks, see again, this is like the wording of things. Commander creatures you own have this ability. It should have just said your commander has. Whenever this creature attacks, it gains double strike until end of turn. Alright, so here you are able to target your own commander, give your commander double strike, but this is too powerful that your own commander cannot +X itself. Wait, for the Adept card, it is easier to interpret if you double the mana as opposed to copying the ability and then just the extra mana. Yeah, because for this Adept lady over here, as printed here, yeah, tapping your Llanowar Elf is an ability, and this is saying when you tap an ability, do it twice. When you do an ability, do it twice. There might be a creature that when you tap it, you draw a card. When you tap it, you make a mana. When you tap it, you deal a damage. So what she's doing is doubling any of those abilities. Now, the errata, the official version of this card now, does not include mana abilities. So you cannot double your mana. Don't double your mana. Officially, if you're playing with people and you try to double your mana with this card, they're going to say, hey, you're breaking the rules. You are disqualified. But no, it's not a silly question. Magic is complex. And so even like this, who would know unless I'm telling you here, except me, VM Campos, your magic guru, is telling you that there was an obscure article by Wizards of the Coast saying, my bad, our card is broken. You would have played it that way and you would have doubled your mana. And yeah, repeating it, doubling it, same thing. You carry the security of Baldur's Gate on your shoulders, and you welcome the weight of responsibility. Yahira's Respite, another rare. I got 2 rares in this pack. 5 mana, instant. Search your library for up to X basic lands, where X is the number of creatures attacking you. Put those cards into the battlefield, tap, shuffle. Prevent all combat damage. Okay, interesting. So it's a fog effect in that it prevents all damage, and then it lets you go get mana. Very, very interesting. So the opponent is attacking you with 7 creatures. You play this, and you get to go 7. You get to go get 7 lands, and you get no damage. And you do have to pay 5 mana for it. That's really interesting. Then we got another one of these beautiful foil things. We got a colossal badger. Look at that badger. It's so big. It's so colossal. Huge tongue. 7 mana for a 6/5. When this enters, you gain 3 life. Or send it on an adventure. Adventures Return. The first time Adventures Return, exactly, brand new adventure support. First time Adventure Return since Throne of Eldraine back in 2019. So you can pay 2 mana, send this Badger on an adventure. Choose target creature. You mill 4 cards. So here's another example where I would have simply put the word you. You mill 4 cards, then put +1 counter on that creature for each creature card. Mill this way. So this assumes you've got a bunch of creature cards. This assumes you're milling yourself a bunch of creatures, and then you can put a bunch of +1s on the creature based on your mill. You could possibly give a creature +4/+4 if you milled 4 creatures. Worst case scenario, you give your creature +0 if you didn't mill any creatures. And then eventually you pay 6 mana, you get a 6/5, and you gain 3 life. Rip through enough dirt, and you'll eventually hit something edible. And the last card here is a Magic mini game. So this is one of these cards that lets you play a weird variant of Magic. This requires 2 players, 2 packs. It takes 10 minutes. This is the Mimic Match. Okay, my degree in graphic design tells me that it is a bad idea to put blue text on a black background. That is graphic design 101. You didn't need to go to university to learn that. You could have learned it in high school. But putting blue on black is not a good technique of graphic design, because you can't even read that. Anyway, objective. Match and collect the most treasure chests before someone uncovers the mimics hiding them. Yep, so it's a variant game. Yeah, they don't work well together. And I'm very surprised because back in the old days on the web, when people first started to make websites, they would just love to put they would love to put black backgrounds on websites. Remember that? Anyone remember on the old days of the web, websites were so cool when they were black backgrounds. But then, of course, people put blue text there and you can't even read it. So here we have blue on black in real life. Yeah, exactly. With your art degree, yes, exactly. You're seeing there. That's not a good color combination. The foreground and background colors are too close to each other on the spectrum, and therefore that is hard to read. Not good readability. You remember having your MySpace in blue and black. Well, back in the MySpace days, we didn't know what we were doing. And anyway, that was the last card there. So no high-priced big old dragon that we got out of the deck, out of the packs, but we got some cool fun cards, some cool foil cards, art cards, etc. And that was my pack of Magic the Gathering, Commanders, Legends, Dungeons and Dragons, Battle for Baldur's Gate set booster. So let's take one more break. I need to refill my drinks over here. We'll do a little bit more gameplay. And maybe look at some photos. So I've been taking photos and such, and you might indulge me, and we'll look at a photo or two and do some gameplay, of course. I want to show you this brand new bird deck that I made. It has a pretty good win rate so far. It is currently 59% win rate, 16-11. So we'll play that deck as well. Be back in a moment. All right, everyone, we are back. Let's do one more duel, Rosla. Let's do yeah, bird flu. That's what I'm gonna change the deck to bird flu. That's so funny. I just call it burbs. We'll see that deck in a moment. But let's do a best of 3 historic match over here. I will initiate. I don't see you live at the moment, so if you want to hop on, Rosla. Let's do a best of 3 historic, and I'm gonna be in a world of trouble over here because Rosla's historic decks are some of those vicious I've ever seen. We'll see if we can survive. So let me know when you're online to do that. In the meantime, let me show a couple of these photos. So as I said, I've been getting back into film photography, and switch over here. There's this film that well, I'll show that in a moment, but here's a fun one. Here's the kitty up on the up by the shower head. He's such a wild animal, channeling his inner jungle cat, because there he is on top of the shower, just marking his territory, like this is my shower. And so this was shot on, what film did I use for this? So if you're a photo nerd, this will all make sense, but this was Fuji Superia 400, and I used my Konica Auto S. So that's a vintage camera from, what year is the Auto S from? It's either the 60s or the 70s. So it's one of the cameras that I got recently. And so, yeah, this is what I love about vintage or film photography. You know, yeah, it's grainy, it's imperfect, it's not digital, it's got imperfections. And this camera that I used is completely manual. The little sensor doesn't work anymore. It's 50 years old, so the sensor doesn't work anymore. But you know, with those manual cameras, if you set the settings right, you can take good photos. And so I snapped this one, and when my so this is a cat that when my old cat died, my parents said, "Hey, we got this new little kitten that we just got. Would you like him instead?" So he became part of my family. And when I first got him, looking back on him in the beginning, his fur pattern was very light. And now that he's gotten a little older, it's gotten very dark. So every time my parents come over, they're like, wow, he's so dark nowadays. He's got this like really fun swirl on the body here and all these little stripes. And he definitely has a jungle cat mentality. All right, let me show you some other photos. What's a good one that I shot? It's not too amazing, but over here in the he's camouflaged as a latte. In one of the local parks, I was taking just this photo just to test out this camera, and it's actually a very high quality lens because you see all of the little lines of the reflective material. Little bit of blur in the background, focus on the main sign. This is a little bit more, you can really see the high quality bird poop right here. But this was just testing it out, the colors and such, because these cameras, some of these cameras that I have, like I just got this one and it's from 1950. I haven't developed the film yet. I don't know how the negatives will turn out. But on this photo that I'm showing here, this is a camera from I think 1966 or so, and I was taking a roll of film to test its quality, and yeah, you see the wood grain and everything. So something that's 60 years old still works very well. So you think this is like poster quality? Yeah, my cat's gonna make me famous, and I gotta sell some great posters of them. Anything else that's kind of okay on that roll? Recycled water isn't human recycled water might be urine, but man-made recycled water simply means that it does say don't drink it, but it's, water that's out there and somehow they reuse it for the plants. Plants don't care if it's pea water. All right, so here's one of these energy towers, and on this, I am liking the results. I think some of them got overexposed, but you get this nice blue sky, and I can crop it later to make it more symmetrical. But this side of this mechanical tower thing, this is funny. At the park that I went to, there's this sign: "Caution, fly ball zone, park at your own risk." This park also has a baseball field. So what this means is a fly ball is when a baseball gets hit and it flies in an area that you don't expect. And so it's telling you here, if you park in this zone, you might get your windshield cracked by a baseball. Park at your own risk. And that's how the park indemnifies itself from very intelligently putting a parking zone next to a baseball field. But as long as they put the sign up there, they feel that they're safe. So I thought that was funny. I shot all of these at the park, and so just looking off to the northeast, we got a lot of different biomes in the area. So cropped like this is like, yeah, you're out in the wilderness. But then if you home run rip car repair. But then if you just look right over here, there's civilization. There's a little power generation station, I suppose. There's the reservoir, Spring Valley, city of Spring Valley over there. So in this area that I live, just doing a test on exposure there. So this area that I live, it's the suburbs, but you walk a couple miles, couple kilometers, and you're in some wilderness. There's the baseball field. Someone was practicing. He was throwing baseballs as someone was practicing, and then he went off to go retrieve one of them right there. So that was a little bit more testing that camera. I didn't really have anything amazing on that roll. Antique furniture made daily. Antique furniture. That's funny. Those were a few shots with that camera. I'll show one or two more, then we'll get back to the gameplay. Did Rosla get back on here? Yeah, Rosla's back. Let's challenge Rosla. We'll look at some more. We'll look at some more photos in a moment. Okay, so we'll do best of 3. Where do we go here? Tournament, traditional standard, nope. Limited standard, nope. Historic, here we go. Historic best of 3 coin flip. Yeah, okay, there we go. So let's try to do, there you go, thank you. I just sent out the challenge. Let's do best of 3 historic. Let's see what we've got. I refilled my drink. It's a kind of a variation of a spiked eggnog. It's not even Christmas time, but that's what we will. I haven't played this deck in a little while, so let's see how it goes. When my deck works, it works. When it doesn't, it is interesting. So here we go. Best of 3, 60 cards. Yeah, let's try out those decks. All right, so GG. Let's see how we go. 60 card historic. Best of 3. Okay, so far we've got Is It colors. Is it an Is It deck? I think it is. Where do you find eggnog in the summer? I made it. This was brandy. This was brandy, milk, and condensed milk. Should have put a little cinnamon in it, but that's what this deck is. Ooh, we got raw.
I've worked my whole life for this. Creature plus supercharged energy equals.
Ral is funny. All right. Well, I'm missing a lot of land drops. That's amazing. So we're already disadvantaged. We got Rawl that copies. Uh-oh, we're gonna get our lands. We're gonna get both our lands destroyed. We get our 2 artifacts destroyed. Okay, this is devastating. We're dead. Yep, this is game over. Yeah, we're too far behind. Alright, well, we'll see how we can do in game 2. Destroying those mana rocks is definitely a big part of my strategy. Oops, got the haphazard bombardment. That's very good. It's going to destroy all of these things randomly. Plus some
Like a bolt out of the blue.
There we go. Randomly destroy the best thing, of course. There we go. Of course it did. And then there's that. Okay, GG. Way too far behind. Okay, so we've got a lot of shenanigans there. Let's put in some of these. That'll be the best thing there. Alright, let's try that again. Missing land drops, getting my mana destroyed. We were just too far behind. So let's try again. Alright, so we know we got a planeswalker, we know we've got permanent destruction. If you don't know by now, Rosala's decks definitely don't hold back. So we gotta be on our top game. You can find an eggnog for Halloween, you'd be one happy camper. Well, that's the thing, you gotta just make it yourself. Alright, so obviously her deck, she gets great inevitability once she reaches her critical mass of lands. Passing with open mana. Okay, well, let's try to play into this counterspell. No counterspell, good.
Recklessness and fear are the seeds of disaster. The
Got
fabric
an
of the
Ulama,
multiverse
we got an
obeys
Ugin,
me.
the Ineffable. 4 mana in total from our opponent. Gonna destroy our mana rock. Make some more little creatures over here.
Ether itself serves me.
I think we're dealing with like 5 mana pile, and now every color is there. So with that world tree, that's a big problem. So now she has access to every color. And I know that there's every good card, so 5 cards in hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana next turn. So basically, it's just everything in service of mana ramp. Alright, well, these are horrible draws.
Truth lies beyond vision.
Try to just get those spirits to possibly put some pressure. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana, possibly 8 mana. Cleansing Nova, okay. Not so bad. Get to draw a bunch of cards. Two mana left. Okay, so yeah, every color's coming in. Kind of desperate plays a little bit over here, gotta say, unfortunately.
Secrets manifest before you.
Hopefully that Founder's Monument, making a 4/4 spirit, that can just easily be shattered. She's running a lot of artifact destruction. Every color on tap. 5 cards in hand. We got Raul.
You ready to throw down the
Planeswalker's always tricky to deal with. She's going to duplicate her spell here. Devastating.
A foolish move.
Okay, good. That doesn't target a Planeswalker. Okay, good, good, good.
I have some bad news for you. I should really get back to the lab.
Fire.
That was a little bit of a misplay. I could have played something else. Whoops. Nicol Bolas.
I will spare you. In exchange
It's
for
brother
eternal
versus
servitude.
brother. If you read the lore of
If too many
Magic,
unreliable
Ugin and Nicol Bolas are brothers. That's kind of dramatic. Great.
The whole of the multiverse will bend to my will.
Alright, so we got a bunch of cleansing novas, so that's definitely gonna be a problem. And then I'm just whiffing on draws. Okay, well, GG.
I will
As we can
return
see
one
here,
day.
if we're playing a real format like Historic Brawl, we're no match. I mean, historic, full historic, because see, there's some land destruction, making treasures, just inevitability, and then just completely dead draws over here. There's a million good things in my deck, and now we got a Liliana to deal with, so
This isn't your average zombie horde.
when you have every color,
Impressive, isn't it?
you have every good card, so, and then we're dead over here. Okay,
Good help
GG
is easy to
opponent,
find
so
in war.
that's the power of that deck. Once she builds up inevitability, that's just unstoppable. So GG. Missing any good draws is completely dead. There's too much advantage. And then right here it's crashing. So yep. If you want to challenge Rosala, be prepared to lose. So there you go. Okay, so let me show the bird flu deck. This is a brand new blue-white deck that I made. This is the bird flu deck. One bird flew over the cuckoo's nest, and it's just a deck full of birds that overwhelms the opponent and pecks out their eyes. Okay, so we got the Scarab God. Yeah, we can do one more deck. Let me just play this. I already started this other game, so let me play this game and then we'll do one more. Alright, so I got all of these birds that go a little bit aggro. Some of the bigger birds do interesting things. Vega has protection. We got some equipment, so these little birds hold these weapons in their beaks. Signet. Alright, so I'm going to do a little bit of adventuring right here. This little bird is going on an adventure in the dungeons. Yeah, definitely. I've seen your videos on using it. We didn't go for the epic 40-minute match, but I could already see that you had inevitability. You had every color that you needed, every lane that you needed, card advantage. So, GG. Aw, man, my poor little bird. That's okay. Let's bring out Vega. Vega the Watcher. Its extra ability never plays off. It's just a 2. It's a ward 2 is the main reason why I've got that in the deck. Plus, we've also got a little bit of removal. Your Scarab God is amazing, but not too powerful once it gets exiled. So next I could play Teshar, which brings stuff back from the graveyard. Now here's a gamble. I could let Vega die and stay in the graveyard, and then Teshar could bring it back if it attacks. But obviously if they kill Teshar, then my commander is permanently in the graveyard. So if I was extremely lucky, I would do that, but I think that's too much of a gamble. Okay, let's put in a little bit of adventure. Birds going on adventures. Actually, let's make a blocker. Play a land that has flash and flying, but it takes 4 mana. They've been getting all of their mana on tap, so I guess they'll resummon Scarab God. But I've got the pressure of damage. Okay, we can do this flash flyer at a certain point. 4, 5, 6, 7, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Perfect. It all happened to be four mana. Well, anyway, I can flash in that protector. Guess I'll flash it in and kill that marshal. So it flashes in, or I could block that 5/5, but it might be better to flash in, block that marshal. Well, I am leaving a lot of white mana open, so maybe they'll get scared. Maybe they'll get scared, and then I will... No more removal for that. I'll attack with everything. I gotta block that 3/3, although they do see all that mana there, so maybe they'll get scared and think I've got a Settle the Wreckage. I think there's a Settle the Wreckage in the deck, but I don't know. They're not scared of anything. Okay, well, let's come in. Let's block that. That will live. They'll probably sacrifice a creature. They'll just sacrifice their 1/1. I'll sacrifice my 2/1. Each player discards a card. Okay, that's not so bad, actually. A little bit of armor, sure. That's fun. Bring something back directly. Keep adventuring over here. Draw a card. Come on, something good. I guess I should have passed my torch onto a different creature just to make it stronger. Got 9 life already. What happened? All right, so we got blockers. Not a big deal. That's got menace. Oh, getting flashback. Jump start. Guess they really want that Marshal. It is a zombie deck. Just attack with everything. Okay, well... They're good gaming me. I'm not dead yet, am I? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh yeah, I guess they are. Okay. Well, GG. Okay, let's do Rosala. Let's do that. Let's do that other deck. And then I'll get back to some Brawl. So up to this point, this Bird Flu deck has 57% win rate. Just got a bad matchup at that point. All right, let's do a rematch with Rosala over here. We got a brand new deck. Let's see how that goes. That's the spirit. These should be on pay-per-view. All right, so we're doing another pile of every color, every good card. So we're just racing to who gets to inevitability first. That are going to get our artifacts destroyed over here. That definitely holds us back. All right, amazing.
Curiosity and wonder drive civilization. I can create or destroy. This is not my first ending. We are but motes in a vast multiverse. The fabric of the multiverse obeys me. Ether itself serves me.
See, that was a misplay. I should have activated my
Truth lies beyond vision.
Guardian Idols. Alright, so obviously what I'm trying to do in my deck is just ramp into huge things. But it definitely needs a lot of ramp. We got a couple of amazing planeswalkers to deal with. A lot of planeswalkers to deal with. At least they're one-ofs. All right. Best of 3. Here we go. Alright, so here obviously the problem with my deck over here is that it will either get mana screwed to do anything meaningful, or here I'm mana flooded to do anything meaningful. So hopefully I get anything good to be able to do anything meaningful.
My army will envelop this world. Rise! They were a lousy servant anyway. You'll pay for that. Smelly, but effective. My army has been destroyed.
You ready? I'm ready. Let's do this. Oh, I just want to hug all those fire critters. and you'll get hurt. Chandra, you need more control. Psh, just let me burn. Don't think a fancy dress means I didn't come here to fight. Let's bring things up to a simmer. Let's burn brighter.
My presence alone will guide you towards victory. Be gone!
Ugh. Next time, I'll wear more comfortable shoes. Consider this bridge burned.
A manipulation of the mind. It's how you play the hand you're dealt.
This
Toast
experience
it!
still proved useful.
All right, so there you go. That's a very powerful deck when she gets into the inevitability of it. Just a lot of planeswalkers, a lot of protection, and a lot of things to get through. So here we go, third match.
Witness the ties that bind us all. The land fights for us. Forgive me. Through this land, we are all connected. Behold, nature's true power. Fight on without me.
All right, there we go. Ulamog ending the game. Very hard fought victories. GG Rosla. You definitely have very, very powerful decks. Went down to the wire. 3 out of 3. That's yeah. It's very busted. I did have to make 1,000,000 mana to get Ulamog, so it's not like I cheated it in with sneak attack or something. But yeah, you get 1,000,000 mana and you win the game, I guess. But yeah, GG on that. Definitely Planeswalker, Super Friends. That game too, I was definitely outclassed on that game too. You had like 5 Planeswalkers on the battlefield, each one amazing, of course. So yeah, GG. I can't wait to see that deck on the next Magic tournaments and mopping up the floors with everyone. It's all about monsters, field control. I have absolutely no cards that come up by artifacts. On this deck, yeah, because you don't have Cleansing Nova, right? If you put Cleansing Nova, then you've got it all, because all of my artifacts put Cleansing Nova in the sideboard, right? My deck is all reliant on just big ramp, all artifact stuff. So Cleansing Nova will definitely set me back. You almost had the whole, that's true, you almost had the whole Gatewatch on that. You were just missing, you had Lily, you had Gideon, you had 2 Chandras. Did you have Nissa out? And then you just needed Liliana. But then do you count Ajani in the Gatewatch? And what about Teferi? So yeah, you had your Gatewatch squad. That's definitely a deck. Once you've got the ball rolling, that ball's gonna roll you over. GG. All right, let's play a little bit more of this Bird Flu deck. I'm gonna be funny. I'm gonna call it this Bird Flu. There we go. Original Gatewatch only. Very nice. Let's play this Bird Flu deck a little bit more. Have a good night. You're like 2 time zones away, right? So you're at 1 in the morning. Get some beauty rest. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for the games. And good luck on your trip and stuff. And again, if you haven't subscribed to Rosla's YouTube yet, give her a follow. All right, so this bird deck is just getting out a lot of little birds, putting equipments in their beaks, and pecking the opponent's eyes out. Vega has this great ability, but it's not part of my deck at all. Thank you, you as well. Whenever you cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand, draw a card. So that's basically giving you the idea to attack with, to cast a bunch of foretell cards. I don't have any foretell cards in the deck, so that extra ability doesn't do anything. But Vega also has Ward 2. So let's see if this Izzet deck isn't too annoying. Don't tell me they got Lightning Bolt. Nope. Okay. So, they do have Lightning Bolt, but I've got Ward 2. Interesting. Where would you block that? That wasn't a good trade. Triple red. Right, this is fun. This auto equipment goes straight to Vega's beak. I'm probably going to hold back that 1/1, but then they're going to just torch it, so, oh, okay. Huh. The opponent, well, I wouldn't be surprised with that name, but the opponent seems to be a slightly newer player that doesn't get the value of not blocking everything. Oh, that's why, because everything's going to get killed. And I'm missing a bunch of mana drops. Single red mana left. Anything I play will get torched. I guess this rock will be the sacrificial creature. Opponent doesn't know they have priority. I guess they have a shatter. I'm gonna shatter my relic axe. Investigator's Journal enters. Hey, that's going to enter with 0, if I understand that card. Yeah, that's there for 0, so that wasn't a good idea. They should have cast it and then... they should have cast their Investigator's Journal when I had my creatures, then torched my board, and then the journal would be useful. Because it would have entered with 3 counters on it. Those 3 counters could then draw cards. At the moment, the only thing you can do with it is sacrifice it, draw a card. There's a little bit of a misplay there. I'm missing another land drop. I've been missing land drops over here. They've got 2 cards in hand, so obviously they have some sort of direct damage. If that one gets torched, that'll be okay. They'll have their Locust God next turn, anticipating. Right, they have all their mana for their Locust God. I got removal for that. Staying on 1 mana. Sacrifice it, draw a card. Keep missing land drops. Amazing. Okay. Hopefully they just cast their Scarab God and then tap out. Then I have the Banishing Light, which will buy me a little time, but still pretty far behind with mana. Very slow player. So it's a lot of low-cost birds. Equipment removal in blue and white. I don't have any counter spells. I don't really like to do counter spells in most decks. Uh-oh, the Dragon Master's about to make a lot of dragons. Definitely need to pull removal next turn, and Scarab God is back. So, okay, not removal. GG opponent. Guess we'll hold back kill shot. Alright, well, play this deck one more time. You know, I did. This is falling into the classic. When I'm playing the deck on my own, I had a 60% win rate. I had whatever the win rate was. And then now that I'm playing it live, all of these are bad matchups. We'll play one more time, and we're getting close to the end of today's stream anyway. And no offense, I don't need any advice on making the deck better. The deck works. It's just that it's, at the moment, it's not working great. But it has 55% win rate at the moment. Let's see if we can get another opponent. Let's see if we don't get mana screwed. Calyx, and I think that's a reference to Gundam. That definitely feels like a Gundam. MS-073B. So a Shepherd turn 1, well, normally that would be meaningful, but not at the moment. That was a card that went up to like $80 in real life. Cannot be countered. Green spells cannot be countered. Pay 6 mana. Each elf you control becomes a 5/5. Alright, so most likely they'll summon their Calyx, but Calyx's removal works. -3, exile target creature. Minimus, okay. Free mana, thank you. They couldn't target Vega because it's got Ward 2, so they had to target my other inconsequential creature. They could summon Calyx. Calyx works by the exile target creature or enchantment you don't control until target enchantment you control leaves the battlefield. So they need an enchantment, such as that, to exile one of my things. So it's an Oblivion Ring based on an enchantment. Oh, my poor Tashar. If I let them keep, yep, see, there we go. That enchantment where they exiled my creature, that enchantment was an enchantment that they needed to have on the battlefield so they can do the Calyx -3, exile target creature until target enchantment you control leaves the battlefield. So they were going to exile my commander into that enchantment, but I destroyed their enchantment. So then they're like, nope. Okay, well, I think that might be a good ending point right there. Ending with a win. Actually, we'll end right after we look at a couple of photos. Let me switch over to this mode over here. I have a few more photos to show off. So, for example, here is one of these traffic signs. And what I'm doing is I'm shooting with this film called Jazzy Blues. It makes everything very blue. So the sky is like very, very, very blue. And there's some examples that are just very interesting, like this over here. So it's like a monochromatic color, but everything becomes blue. Here's one of our local shopping malls. I had just parked and then I was gonna take some photos. So some of these are very interesting, very blue. Just some reeds and stuff. But you see that it's just everything's so tinted blue. I was wandering around on this mall and there's these sort of little corners of the it's one cool photo. There's these little corners of the property. So here's a bunch of graffiti, and so the freeway, the 805 is over here, Bonita Road and Sweetwater Road is over there, and then we have all of these gang signs or something. Yeah, it's a really fun mall. It's been there so long. It's been there like 40 years or something, right? I remember it's been here all my life. Wonder when it was first created. So I have no idea how to read these gang signs, these gang tags, but I don't know what this is. Reyes or something. And then vote TNC drugs. Just people don't know what to do with their lives. Okay, this one's really weird. If you look in one of these, we have a Westfield over here in Wellington and Christchurch and Auckland. I think they're a multinational shopping mall conglomerate, so I don't doubt it. So on one of the peripheries of this mall, there is one of these markers. Apparently, I have no idea what's going on here, but there's one of these markers about rest in peace sort of thing. And so we have Mark Westmoreland. We will miss I think this is Dad. We will miss Dad. I have no idea what this family is the best team to have. This is conceptually, I suppose, a very sad photo. Like, what is the meaning of this cross on the side of the road? Who died? How did they die? What is the meaning of this? So that's tucked away somewhere there. Here's just a stark empty side of the parking lot. I walked over there where those trees are at. Somewhere over there I took a photo of that cross, and then I went to the parking lot of the mall over here. And so just some artistic abstract. If you crop it like this, I think that's pretty strong. Out there it looks fine like here, but if I look at it like this and crop it like this, we follow the we follow the rule of thirds and create a focal point on one of the thirds of the image. Technically, it's stronger that way. A siren's head there, possibly. What else do I have here that might be interesting on that photo shoot? So just another shot over here. This is something, let me ask all of you at the moment. Do you ever think about, does it matter to you? How do I word this? Let's say I drive around in a certain area all the time. And it's kind of meaningful to me that once in a while, I actually walk in that area. For example, these freeways over here, these highways, I drive here all the time on these freeways. But to walk then in this sort of area, it's interesting to me, it's meaningful to me to experience a place in a different way. I drive by a place all the time, perhaps on a commute, as my usual route on errands and such. And sometimes it's interesting to be there, to exist there in a place in a different way. You used to live there, the bike path. Oh, really? Yeah. So again, I would see this all the time. I drive by there all the time, and I've never walked the full length, but I have gone through here in this bike path, maybe toward close enough to the freeway there. Walk from the standing point here to the freeway there. It's not that far, but I've never really walked there because I don't live there. I drive by there, and so I was in the area, and I thought I'll walk around here. And I've been to this mall for decades, but let me walk around. So for example, over here, some of these other sort of nooks and crannies of the place. You drive by there to get to the parking lot, to get to the store, but I thought, let me walk around and see what I see. And just some very blue, monochromatic, and again, I'm shooting this with one of these cameras from the 60s, and I'm shooting it with some of this weird film. This isn't any like Kodak or Fuji film. This apparently is some hand-rolled film from some store called Film Warehouse here in California. And this is very enjoyable. Taking photos with a manual camera, you got to get the settings right. It doesn't hold your hand. You have a limited number of shots, and that's it. You then send the rolls off to get developed, and then you see these a week later. It's not like photography is nowadays. You take 10 photos now and you pick the best one and move on. Here you've got to be slow and methodical and such. And even the imperfections of the gear itself. Notice these sort of blurry edges over here where there's the parts in focus. And I can still open these up in Photoshop and further edit them. These look pretty good overall as I'm showing them to you. But I could then use my Photoshop skills and further up the contrast and just do a bunch of interesting extra post-processing. What else? Good old JCPenney. That's a shop that's been around, what, 90 years or something? Obviously, many of these in-person malls have less of the grandeur that they used to have. Because everyone's buying everything online. I know I buy plenty of stuff online too. But walking the malls, like in the old days, that's got its own charm. So that Westfield, Mark, does it have like a subtitle? Because ours is Westfield Plaza Bonita. And then I think there's a few other ones. What are the other Westfields around here, Gabe? We got Westfield Mission Valley, Westfield Plaza Bonita, Westfield Chula Vista Center. Does yours have some sort of subtitle, or is it just the Westfield Mall? Now when you go to the Plaza Bonita Mall, you gotta hit the Apple Bites, get buzzed, and their signature drinks, and then hit the mall. Just, no, that's definitely a fun thing to do. I was just there, I think on this same day that I took these photos. Then I also went to Funky Fries. Have you been there, Gabe? Have you been to that Funky Fries? Ever taken any notice? I'll pass. So there's a hamburger place called Funky Fries, and they definitely have a variety of funky foods. I got the chili burger hamburger. It was tasty. So that was one of the photo excursions that I did. All right, well, everyone, thanks for coming to hang out. Did some magic, battled some opponents, showed off a few decks, opened a booster pack, looked at some photography. I gotta go there more often. It's been there a little while now, and I'm glad they survived the pandemic because so many places closed. But I've got to check them out a few more times to get some other treats there. And so we played some magic, showed off some photos. I'll show you how these photos turned out next time when they come back. I shot them today. I'm gonna probably drop them off on Monday or something. So it'll probably be a week at least till I get them again. That's one of my many hobbies that I'm indulging in, the photography of it all. And if you haven't had a chance to see the latest videos that I've uploaded 2 new videos. I uploaded comics from my collection, 10 comics in 10 minutes, episode number 2. It's a little 10-minute thing where I browse a few comics from my collection. Check that out. I also did a short little 2-minute video where I open up my box. So San Diego Comic-Con is coming. Finally, for the first time in 2 years, I got my tickets. I'm ready to go to Comic-Con, and I did a quick video, 2.5 minutes, about opening up the box of goodies, and it's a good one. I showed this Lord Xander deck that's already got 1,700 views. Wow. And I don't know if any of you also sometimes respond to my polls. I put a bunch of polls. Well, that's funny. No one cares about this poll here. But for example, this Lord Xander, I often put a poll with my videos. So I put a poll. What do you think of Lord Xander? Check out my deck. So the possibilities were good cost, good abilities, high cost, good abilities, high cost, okay abilities, high cost, bad abilities, and those abilities should have rounded up. So far the votes, the people have said it's got high cost, but it's good abilities. Yeah, definitely check out. Something's new every week. 1, 2, 3 things, depending how things go, are on the channel all the time. Did any of you see my video where I combined The Nightmare Before Christmas? There it is. The Nightmare Before Christmas plus Welcome to the Black Parade from My Chemical Romance. 4 people like it. So there's that. I also did a video on Nintendo Power magazines. So yeah, got videos there all the time for people to enjoy. More ideas coming soon. So let's wrap it up at this point. Thanks everyone for coming to stop by. It's really cool. I enjoy it a lot. And we'll be back next time to do some more Magic gameplay. Check out or be on the lookout for the videos I'm uploading to YouTube. And don't be a stranger on the Discord. Take care, everyone.